Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, hello everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined as always by David Fiorazzo.
Good day to you, or night, depending on when you're watching, listening.
Or morning.
Or morning.
Whenever.
Well, day would be morning. Night,
well,
evening,
fine.
yeah.
Hello. It's the start of the week, and we are ready to give you the goods, right, David?
Yes, as always.
All right. Well, despite the amount of backlash Christians get for trying to open a charter school or, a place where they would actually educate the children,
yes.
A queer middle school, fully funded by taxpayers, is about to open in Arizona. Why? Why, David?
Why?
How?
Why
How
not?
is that?
Why not? The thing is, though, in this context, we need to put education in air quotes. But imagine, if you will, a pastor got together with other pastors in a city or a state and said, let's open up a Christian charter school. And it will be funded by taxpayer dollars. Gasp! Heads would roll. I mean, there would be fury, but here we go. A queer middle school is going to open using taxpayer-funded vouchers. So it's in Arizona, funded by state voucher money, and it's set to launch soon, in August, according to the Arizona Republic. So interesting there how they're going to just, I'm not surprised that they're doing this. I'm just surprised. I'm going to see if it's going to fly with using taxpayer dollars. Let's watch this quick video. We'll come back and talk about it.
Today, if I were in junior high, I would love to be able to live my full, authentic self.
As the CEO of 1 in 10, an advocacy group for the LGBTQ plus youth, his goal is to offer a safe space for middle school students, one he never had. Inside the nonprofit's youth center is the new queer blended learning center where students will learn from a curriculum built by Spark Community Schools.
Specifically, culturally responsive curriculum in civics and LGBT history, just making sure we're telling stories from every angle, from every perspective and point of view.
Traditional subjects like science, math, and reading are also included.
And then, at the end of the day, we end with project-based learning, which is something that has been proven to take what you learn in those core subjects and really make it relevant.
Because this is a micro school, the teacher-student ratio is 1 to 12. Parents can also tap into the state's universal voucher program to cover tuition.
Our tuition is what that voucher amount is, so that it is available to any parent. It is not above that. There should be no out-of-pocket cost to the family.
It's all about creating that space where they can just be the best version of themselves.
Proud, the best version of themselves.
Best version.
So does this have something to do with education? I noticed they want to be all that they can be, but I thought that was a military slogan. Katie, first of all, the guy was wearing a lifesaver on his jacket. I thought that was interesting. A rainbow lifesaver. What did you say about the inflections? They kind of talk like this, and they kind of trying to explain to the
this is what we've created.
Okay.
In now having a conversation with someone, you can't just speak to them as if I'm talking to you, David,
That's
or I'm
right.
talking to the audience. It's
and then
like,
I'll know when you're done.
And then like when we talk about things and like we do this up talking kind of thing, and then like and like it's so cool, and it's like a California like thing that they've always done it, but it's like this up talking now that has just become, and it completely obliterates anything that you're about to say because I can't get past that when you speak. It just shows a level of lack of ability to communicate with one another when you have to talk.
I think it shows a little condescending.
Oh yeah, and like we know what's right for you.
They have to talk down. They have to make it very simple so even you can understand it. So it's probably up talking. Is that what you said?
I call it up talking. I don't know if that's the official term. I call it up talking.
I've got a quote from Mr. Clayton Davenport. He's the 1 in 10 Director of Development and Marketing, and he said this. We just had this population of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that could really benefit from a safe space to be able to really have exceptional education, air quotes, while also having education that pertains to their own identity. Let's stop right there.
Yes.
Katie, I'm thinking, let's see, World War II, World War I, World War II, Civil War. I'm thinking about big things in American history. How does that help? What were the words? How does that pertain to the individual LGBTQ students' identity. How does that play into what they're learning? How do they change that?
All I got from what that statement said was the safe space. And as you recall, in World War II, there were potential bombs coming. And so this duck and cover video was made to learn how the kids could go into their safe space. It's the same concept, David.
Wait a minute. The threat, though, was an actual bomb.
Yes.
When you're talking about bomb
this
shelters,
is their
the threat
identity.
here is
Yes, I know.
someone that speaks something you might not agree with and might offend you. Words are the bomb.
Yes, words are the
Word
bomb,
bombs.
and I must learn how to
I need to have a safe
retreat
space
into my safe space.
to get away from the word bombs. Okay. So
is completely
the point
true.
is, here's a school going up. No surprise. You can educate your kids. Parents have the right to do whatever they want with their own children, although the Democrats disagree with that. But that's what they're doing here. It's an LGBT or a gay, whatever you want to call it, middle school. And they're doing what they want with their own children. Why can't they give us, the rest of Americans, the same right to do what we believe is proper when it comes to our kids' education? Katie, I know you have some thoughts on that.
And then this gets turned on its head again. Okay, if we're going to be funding very specific segregated groups, self-segregated,
exactly.
As long as they are being self-segregated and not like, here's our pool of kids, and now these kids have to go over to the queer blended learning center, even if they don't want to, like that's...
Did you say queer blended learning centers? Is that what they...
Yeah, housed by 1 in 10. Yeah.
Oh boy, queer blended.
They're an activist group, so I'm talking about them. They're all involved with this. So if we are going to self-segregate in all these different groups, and if you're giving money over here to the LGBT groups, and you're not giving any money to the religious organizations, that's where I have a problem. I have a problem overall with this getting taxpayer funded anyway.
Yeah.
But at least you're going to be even if both are being funded, and then the parents will decide where their kids are going to school.
So apparently the school was founded in response to all the debates throughout our country between parents, lawmakers, and school boards over how to address gender identity and sexual orientation topics. In other words, the old DEI is rearing its ugly head again. We need a school now. We need to start having their own schools, segregating, so that kids can be, I don't want to say educated, programmed under the DEI umbrella.
Well, and the fact that the curriculum they're using was developed by the New York Department of Education, really just, well, we know what these kids are going to be getting.
Key insight there, because as we know, what happens in New York does not stay in New York.
Yep, and in the school, rather than the restrooms being separated on the basis of biological sex, of course, there's going to be single-stall bathrooms for the students to use. That's the most important part. Of course, that's what we focus on. Not so much the actual education and understanding how this country came to be, but the single-stall bathrooms.
So it's not all about really history or education. It's about bathrooms and body parts. Got it. Still to come, a Colorado summer camp is facing tough questions after it was discovered that transgender adults would be allowed to sleep in the same cabin as children based on the gender the adult identifies as. What could go wrong? That's next.
Well, stranger danger. David, you know stranger danger?
I've heard the words.
Well, it's not stranger danger. Well, it is, but it isn't. It depends who's involved. Are trans people involved? Because then it's not stranger danger. We have a Colorado summer camp for children, and they have a stated policy that allows transgender adults to sleep in the same cabins as children of the opposite biological sex, and yet they refuse to disclose specific arrangements to inquiring parents. So you're in Colorado and you want your kid to go to summer camp, and apparently you ship your kid off to this summer camp, the Colvig Silver Camps, located in Durango. They're accepting children as young as second graders, so 7 or 8, all the way through high school. And it's an overnight program for like a week-long time, but there's double camps. Like you could basically send your kid off for
2 weeks?
For 2-3 weeks if you want, whatever.
Wow.
So you send your kid off to camp, and little Sally comes back saying, yeah, this guy slept in our cabin. He was the camp counselor, except he doesn't identify as being
she's going to get in trouble for calling him a guy.
Exactly. So the parents inquired, like, what's going on, but they're not disclosing it. So they have adopted, the camps, a gender inclusivity policy. And they have a whole FAQ section of these gender inclusivity policies, such as allowing adult men who identify as transgender to sleep in the same cabin as girls, or adult women who identify as transgender to sleep in the same cabin as boys. While the camp is upfront about the possibility kids could be bunking with transgender counselors, it will not tell parents if it occurs due to what it considers privacy concerns. Whatever they...
The right to privacy.
Yes.
I heard that somewhere before.
All right, so you're seeing these gender inclusivity FAQs. Some of them are, will there be a transgender or gender expansive counselor in my camper's cabin? And the document states that Colvig Silver camps staff members are assigned to cabins based on gender identity rather than basis of sex. Goes on to explain that parents are not notified if their child is placed in a cabin with an adult of the opposite sex who identifies as transgender. And it says, in the same way that we do not disclose the transgender status or gender identity of campers or participants, we do the same regarding the private information of our staff. Okay, so what you're telling me is that you care nil about the children, but you care deeply about these adults who think they are the opposite sex.
Well, I'm sure they care about the children because parents pay for their kids to go to this camp.
So they care about them as a
about
paycheck.
the kids so they can get the money, but they care about the adult identifying as whatever. They care about that person more. Let me just clarify. Rather than based on gender identity, they're going to be assigned to a cabin rather than on the basis of sex. What does that mean? So rather than on the basis of biology, science, what the Word of God says, how God created us, male and female. So they're going this way. And what happens in Colorado doesn't stay in Colorado.
No.
Katie, this is probably not the only one of these camps in the country doing this.
Well, and it's interesting that these are actual camps. Like we talk about schools being indoctrination camps. Well, what is this? Now, I did look up there's the different age groups for these camps.
Okay.
This is a whole operation they got going on. And they have 4 terms, which they're going on right now. For one term, just to send your kid, it is actually initially like a 2-week term. It's $3,500 to send your 7 or 8 year old. $3,500. Just wait. I'm not done. If you want to send them for 2 terms, 3 terms, or all 4 terms, which would mean they were gone from June 12th all the way through August 12th. All of June. Or most of June, most of July, all of July, and then part of August. You're gone for 2 solid, full-on months. It would cost you $12,800 to send your kid off to camp.
What kind of... Okay.
Who does that? But, I mean, I guess you can do it if you're in Colorado. So you know, for your 7 or 8 year old.
More than a month. More than a month.
Those are the cheap ones because they're younger.
Cheap ones. Okay.
Those are the cheap camps.
Let's be reminded, parents, that if you're more than a month, 5-6 weeks away from parents, away from church, away from family, away from your normal routine, it takes an average of 21 days to form a habit. That's been proven. Pretty much that's standard across the board. An average, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but an average of 21 days. That's 3 weeks. And we're talking about some of these camps going 4, 5, 6 weeks. So we're talking about programming. You might want to use the word brainwashing, but we also use the word indoctrination. So 3 weeks, 21 days to either form a new habit or to replace a habit. And this goes with thinking too, to program a new way of thinking. 3 weeks. And I can't believe it. It just really amazes me that these go that long.
Well, yep, that's maybe this is the norm out west, but for us, that's kind of weird. Now, most important here to wrap this one up, again, they will not inform parents on things. Parents will not be informed if their own child begins transitioning while at camp without the child's permission. And 21 days, as you said, it says, what if my camper begins transitioning at the camp or using a pronoun or a name that differs? And it says, they will support a camper transitioning during their program. We will encourage them to reach out to their parents as well. Oh, we will encourage them. Yeah, sure. Anyway, when we come back, California Governor Gavin Newsom threatens to fine like with money. A school district, just a cool $1.5 million after the board rejects a history book that pushes the LGBT agenda and praises controversial people like, Harvey Milk. Stay with us.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Well, since we're out west of Colorado, let's keep going west to the land of the crazed.
Crazed?
Like crazy.
I thought it was granola country, fruits, nuts, and flakes.
Well, them too.
Well, actually, I used to live there, so.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little flaky at that time.
We're talking about California.
California. What happens in California doesn't stay in California. Go ahead,
All
Katie.
right, Governor
Sorry.
Gavin Newsom put out the threat to fine a school district $1.5 million, $1.5 million, after it rejected a proposed curriculum from the governor's office for the LGBT content. We're talking about Temecula County School Board, who had voted to reject a curriculum that included a social studies book called Social Studies Alive!
Yikes.
Exclamation point.
Okay.
Now, the book complies with the 2011 state laws requiring that students get instruction about the role and contributions of people with disabilities, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans, and other ethnic and cultural groups. In the book, they reference Harvey Milk.
Yes.
I was waiting for David to have a reaction because he always does. He's also a gay rights activist, and he had allegedly had
ladies and
a
gentlemen,
relationship with a teenager while in his 30s. Now let's just take a look at what the news had to say about all this.
The Temecula Valley Unified School Board tonight unanimously approved adopting the new controversial social studies curriculum for grades 1 to 5. They are going to pull the supplemental material referring to the late gay rights activist Harvey Milk. Members will review that and might consider replacing that information with a biography of another gay rights leader.
So while we're pushing grooming and pedophilia on over here,
Contentious, volatile at times. The Temecula Valley Unified School Board voted for a third time on Friday whether to accept a state-compliant social studies curriculum for elementary students after rejecting it twice before. Controversy has been swirling around the material, including a textbook which offers instruction on the contributions of members of the LGBTQ+ community, as well as other ethnic and cultural groups. Supplemental material includes mention of gay rights leader Harvey Milk. Two of the school board members have described him as a pedophile. Parents, teachers, even those outside the Temecula area have flocked to school board meetings to voice their opinions.
Yet here we are struggling against mounting interference from the state.
And I would not let biological males into the female locker room. These are all things I was being asked to do. And immediately I knew I had entered into some serious spiritual warfare.
So here's Gavin Newsom fining a school district in his own state. Gavin Newsom, governor, right? Some call him emperor, but we can say governor. So I thought government didn't control education. Huh? Democrats, hello? I thought government, we're not supposed to be involved in education. Well, Katie, plus, so there was a little bit of confusion here on what the school board rejected. Can you clarify that?
What happened is Temecula County voted a couple times. They rejected it. Rejected it. Here comes the emperor. Yep, the curriculum. Okay. Here comes the emperor threatening to fine them $1.5 million.
Okay.
So now what do?
There he is.
They hold another vote and they concede by unanimous vote that they will adopt the state curriculum. Well, I mean, when you have the emperor's boot on your neck, what are you going to do?
So they were afraid they were going to lose.
I assume that's what it was. I wasn't in the room, but they've been having at these board meetings, there have been plenty of parents, as you saw, speaking out against it.
Yeah.
And two of the board members are like, Harvey Milk should not be taught to our children. And they are claiming they are going to remove that, even though the stuff was adopted, the curriculum was adopted, that they will remove that. But here's what Newsom had to say before they did the vote because this is what Newsom came out with and threatened them, essentially. He said if the school board won't do its job by its next board meeting to ensure kids start the school year with basic materials, so he's whining about
that's not basic.
That curriculum, that book, like as if that book is absolutely necessary.
Right.
Basic materials. The state will deliver the book into the hands of children and their parents. Just listen to that. The state will deliver.
Wait a minute. Is this
into the hands of the parents?
Wait, is this a quote from Nazi Germany in the 1940s? The state
will deliver.
Take down the crosses and replace it with Mein Kampf
into the hands of the children.
Sorry. A little historical reference.
It says, and will send the district the bill and fine them for violating state law. So. Yeah, he had more to say, don't worry. California will ensure students in Temecula begin the school year with access to materials reviewed by parents and recommended by teachers across the district.
Of course,
after we deliver the textbooks, and then they went on and said, the whole thing, the fine. After we give them their fine, the school board, for its decision to willfully violate the law, subvert the will of the parents, and force children to use an out-of-print textbook from 17 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. It doesn't have
You mean we can't use books that are more than 17 years old?
Well, it might not have all the DEI, LGBTQIA, and all the alphabet. It may not have all that history.
That's the thing. Parents, you want to protect your kids out there? Just look at the copyright date of everything that has been made. As long as it's from 17 years ago, you're probably safe.
Hey, moral of this story, friends, even if you're in the darkest blue state, elections have consequences.
All right, still to come, a new $2 billion. We're not talking millions anymore. We're talking $1 billion conservative theme park the size of, Disney's Magic Kingdom is set to be built in the Midwest. Oh, where? We're going to give you a sneak peek at what former Disney executives designed for freedom-loving Americans.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the FreedomProject Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Oklahoma.
Where the wind comes.
What happens in Oklahoma stays in Oklahoma, because they're not going to support the two mouse houses on the left and the right coast, the Disneyland and the Disney World. Anyway, so it's a new $2 billion theme park and resort as big as Disney's Magic Kingdom. It's coming to Oklahoma, and we are going to come back and talk about it. Watch this fascinating video. Check it out.
We're bringing a family destination here in the Veneta area on Route 66.
What we're bringing here is often not found anyplace except on the east and west coast.
Where else to put American heartland than in America's heartland?
Our theme park is scheduled to open in the fall of 2026. The theme park is going to be based on different lands. Liberty Village, as you enter the park through the main entrance, the Great Plains area, the Bayou Bay, Big Timber Falls, the Stony Point Harbor, and then Electropolis. We have a 4-star hotel with a boardwalk that will be there. We have custom designed rides, a slew of attractions, and live shows that'll be going on throughout the day. And then we also have an RV park, campground resort that we'll be developing. That park is going to have 300 cabins and 750 RV spots, along with a lot of amenities that will be in the park.
This project is going to add thousands of jobs immediately. It's going to add sales tax revenue, hotel, motel tax revenue that's going to help our city, it's going to help our fire department, it's going to help our police department, our streets.
We're here to develop something that's going to help all the people, not only in northeastern Oklahoma, but in all the surrounding state and all through the Midwest.
It's set up perfect on Route 66 right by Interstate 44, Highway 60. The Jefferson Highway runs right here in front of it.
It is definitely family friendly. That's our whole objective. We want it to be the heart and soul of entertainment, something that they can afford and not spend their life savings to come spend a week with us.
We can all see it now. We can see the roller coasters. We can see the RV park, the cabins, the pools.
I'm excited to welcome you to the next big attraction right here on historic Route 66 in Northeast Oklahoma.
Now that's something that we can get behind. Thank you, Oklahoma. See, this is thinking. And Katie, you had a response, a couple of them during that.
Oh, I did.
You said, well, I would take my kiddos there. Go ahead and share your thoughts on that.
I'm very excited. So 2026, while it's too far away,
I know.
It'll be here in a blink of an eye when you have little kiddos. So that'll be the perfect date for the kids go. We can drive there. We don't have to automatically fly. As they even indicated, it's not going to cost you as like a life savings to get to. It's perfect for the middle of the country, which has nothing as exciting as what you got out on the coast. And most importantly, they actually care about America. Like, that's something to be just excited about. I saw the thing, it said Charlotte's Web. I'm very excited about going to the little Charlotte's Web area.
It's amazing that one of your points says, well, they actually care about America. It's like, there's a lot of people that don't think America is a great country or whatever, and they don't care about America. But it's amazing you got to point that out. But 1,000-acre development, it will include the large-scale RV park and campground, and it's going to be called the Three Ponies RV Park and Campground. Is going to cover 320 acres, and it will hold or host 750 RV spaces, 300 cabins, and that is scheduled to open in 2025. So 2 years away from that.
For camping.
It's really, I think it's amazing, very creative that they're doing this. I really love Oklahoma. I love the people there. I've been there a couple times. Great churches, great conservative government generally, some good pastors. My friends Paul Blair and Dan Fisher are there in Edmond, and it's just I like the state. It does get a little hot and humid, but hey, it looked like there was plenty of water features around this new park. It seems like a really good thing.
So other than the heat and all that, you're saying it's okay?
It's better than okay.
All right. Well, if you're a fan of the show, please do what you do by liking, comment, and sharing if you're watching us on social media right now. For David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay educated.